both the president, in fact, it was the Senate President first, who said it in his characteristic jocular manner, because everything to the Senate President seems to be, he finds everything to be funny. You know, no matter how dire the situation is, he tries to make light of every serious situation. So he said, oh, he guarantees Nigerians that 2 weeks after next year's presidential election, insecurity will taper out or just peter out.
2 weeks.
Or just, yeah, he said it. He said it will just...
Are you sure he wasn't joking?
That's what I said, because you don't know when he's serious or when he's joking. Now, the president also in an interview recently, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, said it is politicians, his opponents that are using insecurity. They want to scare me off, and that he's a Lagos boy, he's a strong man, he does not get scared easily.
And I'm a very patriotic Nigerian. I am committed to the peace and security of this country. I am law-abiding, and I really, really detest, I hate our circumstances. I grew up in I'm 72 now. I grew up in a great country that made every challenge and solved and dealt with it. I lived in a country, I was old enough to see the genesis of the Civil War, the entire execution of the war, and the incredible method of healing that took place immediately after it. I saw a great country with a great promise, and I saw waste and abuse and decline that I would have sworn 20 years ago was impossible. If the Senate President did say that 2 weeks after the election, Nigerians will see a secure country, then it leaves only one conclusion. Either he wasn't in his senses when he said that, or they are genuinely playing with insecurity in order to win an election. What are you waiting for? Why do we need to wait until 2 weeks after an election? And what happens if you lose that election? Are they even thinking of the possibility that they could actually lose that election? You know, we had a president who lost an election. Absolutely. And the heavens didn't fall. Absolutely. So why do we wait? Why do we have to wait? That's why when you mention this thing, because this is the first time I'm hearing it, that the Senate President said wait until 2 weeks, within 2 weeks after the election. So in other words, they're now trading votes for our security. Give us votes, and we'll give you security. In other words, what they're doing now is withholding our security and playing with it as an electoral asset. That is the most irresponsible thing anybody could say, not even do, to say, the number 3 citizen of the country, to say to Nigerians, if you vote for us, in 2 weeks you'll be secure. First, with all due respect, I would say he's lying. There's no way you can resecure a country in 2 weeks. Because if you can, this is the time to fix it. 2, he's a poor politician. The most important thing President Tinubu or APC and this administration can do is to secure Nigeria now. Now. Not wait until you win an election. Number 3, by the time we have this election, Nigerians would have been so fed up with an administration that just rolls out press statements, Americans have killed some ISWAP leader, this one has done this one has done this. The second part of the question about blaming politicians, again, is pathetic. This is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with the entire array of access to information. If you know a politician in this country or politicians who are using insecurity to demarcate you, to make you unpopular, why don't you pick them up? They are holding a Rufai now on the grounds that he said that he knows someone who was bugging Nuhu Ribadu's phone. That is 1,000,000 times less than a president himself, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, with intelligence, with security, everything, saying my enemies are at play. It's my political enemies that are causing this problem. If he said that, then it shows that President Tinubu has completely lost touch with the realities in this country. Because I don't see how you would be president in charge of our security. You swore on the 29th of May 2023 that you protect Nigerians. You have failed to do that. And now you're saying, oh, it was my enemies that have done that. In what way? if he's talking about criticisms, then I'm sorry for him. Nigerians will criticize him because that's his job to secure us. If he's saying that to find excuses, then I'm sorry, that is the lamest excuse you can find. If he's saying that because he has evidence, then it is irresponsible of the president not to move against those people. Enemies or not enemies, any Nigerian who is compounding our insecurity, whether he's in government or outside the government, is an enemy of the people, and it is the responsibility of this administration to deal with it.
Serious posers, have been raised about possible saboteurs in the military establishment, giving information to criminals, insurgents, terrorists, bandits, and the likes. Not just giving information, colluding with them. Because sometimes it beggars belief that these attacks can happen just, so brazenly, and the state seems to be helpless. How do you agree to the infiltration of our security architecture by fifth columnist?
Well, I can't comment on. I don't have the evidence to support the case that our military is colluding with subversives.
Certain elements.
Yeah, I don't have the evidence, but what I do have evidence for is that increasingly the capacity of our military to secure this country, not just simply to be defensive and to run when they are, is increasingly our capacity is diminishing. And that means that overall our armed forces are failing to protect us. So something is wrong. And many things are wrong. The ones that we do know is that our military is under-equipped, it is under-resourced, morale is low. I don't know what the internal mechanics and mechanisms for command and control are. We can only assume that they are severely handicapped. The enemy, on the other hand, has a high morale. They are well equipped, they have good intelligence, they are quite capable of fighting our military, sometimes successfully. That is a very dangerous situation to live under. Because look at the Northeast. No matter what they say about ISWAP, and the enemy is on the upsurge. In the Northwest, in the North Central, in many parts of this country. What do we need to be to wake up to the fact that the only means we have to protect Nigerians is our armed forces, our intelligence community, our policemen. Policing is gone in this country. What needs to happen? Do they need to come into Abuja and take over this country? Something is wrong. And if we don't come to terms with the fact that our capacities are declining, our capacities to protect Nigerian citizens are declining, and we need to do something dramatic, we will wake up one day and find insurgents claiming that they have taken over this country and foreign interests. That's how bad it is. I hope that people don't read this as alarmist, because as a Nigerian, I'm deeply worried. Our country has no business being where it is, on the defensive, running away or waiting to be attacked, citizens exposed. This is intolerable. And then you have the same administration under which this thing is going on, coming forward to say, we want you to give us another 4 years. They won't get it. Not in a free and fair election. They won't get it.
Let me ask you, Doc, I know you said you're worried, because I was actually going to ask you, how worried are you, but let me vary the question now. In what universe, in what country on earth does criminal elements abduct innocent citizens of the country and keep them within the territory of the country, not in a different country, within the same territory of that country, and they demand ransom from the government? They take pictures, videos, they upload the videos that, here, I have these people, in this country, I have them. If you don't give me money, I would execute them. And they go ahead to actually, carry out these threats. And the government seems helpless. Doc, I'm sorry to repeat myself by asking, what is going on really?
I don't know. What I know is, all I can tell you with some certainty is that we've lost this war. against these sundry threats.
Really?
Bandits, kidnappers, insurgents, foreign interests interested in weakening our country and interested in our minerals, undermining the integrity and the competence of our intelligence and the security forces. We've lost this battle now.
Oh, wow.
Because what else is there to do? If you abduct 200, 300 people, including children, and you have to pay ransom, and then another group learns that you can do this. Our people, we are a country of 250 million people. Yes. Then virtually every Nigerian is at risk. It's at risk. Exactly. And these kind of crimes repeat themselves routinely. Yes. So now it happens in Kwara, then it happens in Niger, then it happens elsewhere. I don't know. You asked me in what country other than Nigeria. I don't know. To be honest, I think this can only happen to us in this country.
So the Chibok girls
and President Jonathan, and the Chibok girls was in a disaster in more ways than one. One, it signaled the commencement of a practice that allows criminals to take huge numbers of Nigerians as hostages, and then you have to negotiate and pay huge amounts of money. And it just becomes a copycat. Other criminals will do this. And there's no boundary. Yes. So unless you break the backbone of these criminals who are doing this to us, and stop all this nonsense that this is about religion, these people are untouchable because they are Muslims, these ones are it's an ethnic group. It's all over the country. Ransom for money has become a national industry. That's basically what it is. And the more we argue about, they are protected by this person because they are Muslims or they are Fulani or they are this, the more we argue, the more these people dig in. Somebody understands. Somebody somewhere understands our weakness and is exploiting. And what is even more worrying is, if you abduct 10, 50, 200 people, and you get, 10 billion naira in return, or whatever. 10 billion naira is likely to go into purchase of more weapons, pay more people to join you. The numbers of the people on the other side of our security are increasing. They don't use this money to buy mansions in Abuja and Lagos. They buy more weapons, they get more people to join them, so that they can get more and more Nigerians as kidnappers. And other people see this and it happens. So the collapse is near total. And I hate speaking in this tone because I don't want to send the wrong impression. But that is the reality that we're facing. And again, I get back to this election and this administration. This thing is happening right under an administration that says it is committed to securing us. What record will they present in 2020, in the next few months? What record to convince Nigerians that we are safe?
Doc, many have argued that the reason why this insecurity crisis has festered so appallingly is because the president hasn't really devoted quality time, enough political will to tackling it fundamentally, that he's been, distracted by politics of re-election and all of that, and then also revenue generating, tax reforms, all of those. Do you share such sentiments?
Yeah, largely. President Tinubu, I don't think ever really focused on governance beyond what he thought was some critical economic reforms, removing subsidy, harmonizing the dollar with the naira, improving the state's capacity to tax Nigerians, and then using that money to reinforce his political base. I don't think considerations of improving the efficacy of the government and its institutions has ever been a priority. I'm not too sure that President Tinubu has been prepared for presidency, to be honest. Beyond a mature ambition to be president, which is sad because he was succeeding another president who also had a huge appetite and an ambition to be president. And this is the curse of Nigeria. People who have nurtured this desire and ambition to be president get to be president. That is a disaster. And if we don't know it, now we know. Buhari did that.
Ran 3 unsuccessful bids.
Yes, and eventually succeeded. And the moment he succeeded, he drew the line on governance. Thank God I'm president now. And the country can fix itself. And we're seeing that in Tinubu now. And, we should draw our lessons from this. We should learn our lessons. People who seek power for themselves to satisfy national personal ego, to be president, should be avoided. And, President Tinubu was governor for 8 years. And then he went into political wilderness. He was out there as a fixer, political fixer. But the truth is, very little had prepared him for governance beyond the 8 years that he was stopped being a governor in 2007 and remained a major political player in the fringes. Finally, he says, no, I want to be president. And he never told us really what it was. And people said, okay, maybe if we give him the power. And he had enough resources and the clout and the connections to become president. And people thought, okay, maybe this guy would change the trajectory that President Buhari left in the country. He just made it worse. So one of our misfortune in this country is that our democracy, far from bringing out the best people to lead a country that has the potential to be among the best, all it does is to play into the hands of people who have resources, massive resources, and huge ego and ambition to become president. And once they become president, they draw the line. They draw the line. And this is, unfortunately, appears to be what happened. And the tragedy now with President Tinubu is that there are still a tiny number of people, maybe including him, who think that people who criticize him are not paying attention to his performance in the economy. He is wrong, because we do pay attention to his records in the economy. And what we see is increasing levels of poverty, increasing levels of desperation, more and more people who are moving into crime and criminality, and all these are happening under his watch. So of what value is your economic reform if families now eat less than they ate before? If children get expelled from school simply because with all the money you are sending to additional money you are sending to local governments, they are not improving primary schools. They are not training teachers. They are not recruiting teachers. So children of the poor don't go to school. Of what value is the economy? We read all these figures,
macroeconomic numbers and all of that.
And sometimes I wonder whether the people who write those things are not really insulting Nigerians. They must think we are idiots. Because every time you write these things, the achievement of President Tinubu in the economic sector is fantastic. You ask, is it happening in this country? Or is it in another country? Because it certainly is not happening in this country. So either they are so far removed from the realities under which Nigerians live, or they have contempt, they have nothing but contempt, and indifferent to the perceptions of Nigerians regarding how we feel about a president.
Doc, okay, let me bring it home to you now. On Channels TV recently, some days ago, a week ago, you said if the PRP, which you chair, if you get power through the ballot next year, in 1 year, you'll solve the insecurity debacle. Isn't that rather overambitious?
No, it isn't.
Explain.
I didn't say 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like
you didn't say 2 weeks.
Senate President.
You didn't say 2 weeks.
I didn't even say 6 months.
Yes, you said it.
I didn't say 9 months.
You said 12 months.
We said 1 year as a party, and we mean it.
How?
We already understand why we are so insecure. There is very weak political will. There is a huge level of incompetence in terms of managing our resources. There's huge corruption going on. The procurement of weapons, utilization of this, diversion of funds from money that should go into securing Nigerians into other. We already have an idea of why we are where we are. We know why our communities and our people on the streets, in their homes, on their farms, in their villages, we know why they are insecure. Nigerians created this situation, and it's going to take Nigerians to fix it. Not the French, not the Russians, not the Chinese, not America, Nigerians. So understanding the problem, at least some element of the problem, is halfway towards solving it. And we can fix it. Because we didn't just isolate this. We didn't say this in a vacuum. The PRP has said it will focus on 5 things. And the most important one is that it will restore competence, integrity, and empathy to the level of leadership, at all levels of leadership. Now, a competent leader and an honest leader will understand that of all the things you need to do in this country is to secure a nation of 250 million people that deserve to live in peace. Not just in peace in the sense that bandits and kidnappers and arsonists and insurgents don't attack them, but also in peace with each other. Yeah. We don't hate each other. We don't always say, oh, it's these people who are causing it. So we came up with these 5 things. The most important for us is to restore competence, integrity, and empathy and competence to the level of leadership. That's why in PRP, we're emphasizing whoever flies our flag must have some qualities which people can trust. We fight corruption. Then we said, with that capacity, we can fight corruption. We can fight insecurity. Because we will rebuild our capacities to protect Nigerians. We will restore the integrity in the defense and security forces. We will devote a huge amount of money to buy whatever it is that we need to defeat these people. It is not acceptable that the man who's kidnapping you is 10 times better equipped, has better intelligence, and higher morale than the people you're paying to protect your people. That's unacceptable. We would also improve the economy so that we stop people. We use the resources of the country so that every time we secure a place, we can improve education, for instance, to stop children of the poor from joining these people who are doing this. We will work and reunite this country. So this tendency of blaming each other is your people who are doing it. It's your people who are doing it. We'll stop. Remove this hatred in the minds of each other. We never used to hate each other. We have always known we are different people in many ways. But we are Nigerians first. They have no business fighting you simply because you speak a different language. There's none. We've never had a reason. God. Yes, we'll worship a different God.
In a different way.
You know? And finally we said we'll restructure this country.
Oh, restructuring?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
We said we have five issues. We said we will restore competence, integrity, and empathy, the level of leadership. We will secure Nigerians. We will rebuild the economy. We will remove the hate, work towards, we will reunite Nigerians, and we will restructure this country. That's a very bold move to make, but we've made a commitment. This country doesn't work for anybody.
The way it's currently structured.
Yes. So we ask everybody's views about how do you want it. Everybody will get something out of it. No section of Nigeria, geographical, cultural, religious, will get everything. But we can. It's our country, for goodness sake. And we know what is wrong with our country. PRP has some of the brightest people, most intelligent people. We just don't show our faces.
Okay. There are too many questions running through my mind, apart from the ones I have written down. You said you have good people, competent people empathetic, Can you mention some of your candidates in the forthcoming election? Presidential candidates. How many of them and who are they?
We have four candidates.
Okay, 4 candidates. Correct.
Currently, we have, I think, 4. We're just concluded our screening.
Okay.
We're looking at the outcome of the screened. Well, we're looking, they have been screened, but we have to now, today, as I speak to you, from here I'll go to, we want to see the result of the screening. We're likely to end up with, I think, 3 or 4. What I can tell you is that by sheer coincidence, all 4 come from the southern part of the country. All the 4.
Southern part or southwest or southeast?
We have, I think, 2 persons from the southeast and 2 from the south-south.
Okay.
We don't have a presidential aspirant from the southwest. Those are the people who offered to buy our tickets. And
how much was your form, sir? 50 million, 100 million?
For presidency?
Yes.
20 million.
20 million.
Yeah.
Okay. I should have actually come to people.
Yes. Ask me the cost of a ticket for the House of Assembly.
How much, sir?
750,000.
House of Assembly?
State Assembly.
Yes. That's still
because
high.
We want to, 75,000.
Oh, 75. That's
sorry. You pay 25,000 for expression of interest. We want to attract young people. Exactly. We want to attract women. We want to attract honest, good Nigerians to state assemblies. Yes. We want to rebuild the political process from the bottom. If we have a lot of good people in state assemblies, they can resist corrupt governance. And if we have enough governors in government house, they can spend state money to build schools, build roads, build hospitals, build markets, rehabilitate roads, do something for the poor, and allow the economy to heal and rebuild itself.
I know you alluded to this earlier on in your opening remarks. The president recently appointed a special advisor on Homeland security, a retired major general. Has he lost confidence in Malam Nuru Ribadu, his national security advisor? Has he?
I've read many comments about this. I don't know. I know a little bit about how Malam Nuru Ribadu and the president relate. I think they still have an excellent relationship. My feeling is rather mundane. My thinking is rather mundane. I prefer to think that the president has just done one of the things that he is fond of doing, just simply taking a decision without necessarily thinking it through. I think it's just another job for the police. I hope it's another job for the police because it's a lot less dangerous than undermining the office of the National Security Advisor. I think that's the only answer I can give you.
And I want to agree with you that I hope it's just another job for the boys and not, undermining the NSA. Now,